Hi there. It's going to be so good coming up. I've got a special guest, and that's Joel Disini. So don't go away. A really good friend of mine that I've known for many, many years has agreed to go and come on this video, this special conversation segment, and his name is Joel Disini. Many of you don't know Joel, but let me tell you, he is a fantastic guy. You're going to love him. He's also the owner of the dotPH registry. So Joel, it's good to see you.
Hey, likewise, Michael. Likewise, it's good to see you.
Yeah,
and, good to be on your show.
I must admit, I really love these segments, like interviewing different people and things like that. And having you on here has been long overdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've got to ask you, like, whereabouts are you at the moment?
As far as the business?
No. As far as like your location, yeah.
Now I'm in Manila. I'm in a farm. 2 hours from Manila. It's like 3,000 feet above sea level. It's nice. It's not too hot, it's a bit cool at night, so it's nice. We have it's outdoor, not that much COVID, and you'd like it here. You'd love it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to take you up on your offer to come and visit your farm.
Yeah, you should.
Once this is all over, all the COVID things over and done with, that would be wonderful.
Please.
Yeah, sure. So many people may not know you, particularly in the domainer side of the domain industry and domain investor side of the industry. And I thought it'd be great to be able to just hear from, like, where did you come from? How on earth did you get into domain names?
Yeah.
And whatever happened with dotPH? Like, my goodness, what a great registry to own.
Well, the truth is, I just lucked out. It's just luck. What happened is that I was working in Silicon Valley in the 1990s. No, in the 1980s, right? 1980s. And I discovered, I was a Mac software developer working on communication software, and I discovered that there was this thing being made, the internet, and they needed people to from each country to apply and have a name script in each country. So I said, sure, I'll apply. That was it. Direct from John Postel. I became the page domain registry. I didn't think there'd be any money in this. In fact, for the longest time, I wasn't comfortable. I didn't charge because we're just registering a domain name. And then we saw network solutions charge $50 a year. I said, no, I can't do that. I'll charge what was it? I think 900 pesos, which was probably, what is that? Probably 900 divided by maybe $10. Lifetime. I was charged $10 lifetime, and then then it just keep growing. I was running an ISP, and this was just a side thing. In fact, people were upset that I was the registry because this was a conflict of interest. Being able to offer domain names as the registry and internet service. So I did actually push. I did push ISP, and what happened is that telcos came over. They did DSL. The ISPs died. Dial-up died. So I focused on the registry. So I've been doing the registry since 1990. It's been 31 years. Yeah, not many people have been around that long.
Yeah, that's a while. Like, I ran bulletin board systems back in the 80s.
Were you? Which ones?
Yeah, I was running a bulletin board system in Australia here called the Archive.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all sorts of phone lines in my house and stuff. I was just having fun. It was great. And
I used First Class, which is a soft art product for the Mac. I had 8 lines. I had a front door and all that.
Front door. Yeah. I was using remote access.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
I tried that too.
Yeah.
I was happy with the graphic interface of First Class.
Yeah. I then moved to Excalibur. Excalibur was another one I used.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a bit of fun. That was more graphical and that sort of stuff. And
what was cool was gating it to UUCP and getting on the internet. So it was like what, 1990? So we would gate it, to UUCP, then forward it, the UUCP. Everyone on FidoNet on our network could then access the internet. So that was cool. That was amazing to get email, anywhere in the world. I was quite impressed in those days that you could do that stuff.
I remember getting emails by bouncing the signals off the ionosphere. And you'd get like because we use the amateur radio packet network.
And, we did packet radio, really?
Yeah. And
we did packet radio.
Yeah, and yeah, so I remember it would take like 2 days to get a reply from someone, and you think, my gosh, that's so fast. Nowadays, you sit there with the refresh button on your computer saying, have you got the email yet? Have you got the email yet? It's just crazy. Like, it's just so different. And but at the same time, it's so good. So you went along and you just fell into dotPH, and you've been running that now for 31 years.
Great.
So during that time, you must have had a lot of highs, some lows, and that sort of stuff as well. Has it been quite a journey running a ccTLD?
Yeah, I think that the biggest low, or that's not the right word, the biggest challenge in the late 90s was the government trying to take over. In those days, governments felt that they had to have a department of ICT, of internet, of communications and technology, and their way in was to take over the registry. So that was hard. That was very difficult. We had to explain that that it didn't make sense for them to do this, and they went to ICANN, and we had to explain, we've done nothing wrong. We're good players, and people would say we're overcharging. So that was the challenge in those days, and it just disappeared. It just slowly disappeared. Countries were demanding their TLDs. DAC was a big problem. The Government Advisory Committee and ICANN, and it just slowly disappeared. People became comfortable, and I know what happened. They issued more TLDs, and they figured, what's the point? It's not like a monopoly. You've got all these TLDs, right? So when that happened, the demand to take over disappeared, and so it's been quiet since then. It's been now, there's COVID, and I have some challenges with some new TLDs I got into, but it's been quiet compared to them. And there's been some growth. The growth is like we're growing maybe 10% per year, which is still good.
That's good.
CCTLD is good because the country is under this country is very slow in rolling out internet. There are only 2 telcos, and not many have internet. But it's a bit also late because now people are they're more onto, I just need Facebook, I just need a social media account to get the domain. So the growth is mostly people getting email accounts and setting up e-commerce websites.
Yeah. Fair enough. So you mentioned ICANN there. Do you do much with ICANN, or?
No. When the challenge from the gap disappeared, I was like, I just go to not more with ICANN. I just go to ICANN to meet people like you, do business, see what's going on, what's happening, what's going to be happening next year, There's some company that's doing something amazing. Some TLD for sale.
It's interesting. A lot of people don't realize that the ccTLDs have a lot more independence than ICANN versus versus a lot of the other new gTLDs and things like that. And right. You have a lot more flexibility. So you also mentioned just then, obviously having a 10% growth rate at the moment, that's just phenomenal. That's great news,
Mm-hmm.
And to be growing a business like that. So how's it been going during COVID? Has that been difficult for you guys, or?
COVID is challenging because we're in this industry. We're very able to work remotely. We've been playing with everything to make our work more to be more productive. So we play with Discord. We use Discord to stay to talk to each other. We've tried Facebook for work. We're trying Slack. We're using Google Workplace. We're trying Microsoft. And that's what we do for communications. The winning one seems to be Slack or Facebook for work. But we, of course, we use Google for for documents and spreadsheets. And then we use Trello to do things, because we need to, when you're in the office, you can tell people, okay, how's it going with this, how's it going with that, and they'll give you feedback. But if you have Trello, which is like a to-do list for everyone, it's clear. You don't have to keep following up. It's like, okay, this is your to-do list, right? I don't have to keep checking with you, every few days, how's it going? So Trello lets me do that. In fact, for them, it's been a bit, what's the word? Too much of a burden, because it's like, okay, they've got a clear deadline. It's done in 2 weeks, and if it's not done and they don't communicate why, the burden's on them. So it's been that actually backfired. I had some people quit because they didn't get the stuff done. I said, well, it's not my fault. You didn't ask me how. How can you tell people to do something and they don't ask questions? So when it's you, that's when they ask the questions. And then all hell breaks loose. So first, in the beginning, I lost a few people because they felt it was too tyrannical of me. So I'm off, and so we use some Trello for some things, and then phone calls. It's hard. It's hard. And then we go to the office. Before the lockdown recently, which is like 2 weeks ago, we were going 2 or 3 times a week, staggered shifts. You need to see people. And then we switch. When you go to the website, you can do video with support. So you can do video, or you're put into a conference room, and you can do video with support or with anyone who's there, or you can leave a video message and they'll reply by video. Because the phone lines are so bad in the Philippines that we can't have voice communications for my people, because they live in remote locations with very bad internet. So the only way is async. So people don't like chat. They want to just ask. So okay, fine. It's a video message, and we reply by video, high quality, because it's asynchronous, and that works. We're trying all kinds of things. It's work in progress. I don't see us going back full time to working in the office. It's going to be interesting.
I agree. Like it really is an interesting scenario. I must admit, we use Skype, Dropbox. We've tried all sorts of different tools and everything like that, and we find we use those two all the time. And we use Zoom. We use we use Zoom a lot now, like a lot of things. But it's been an interesting challenge, So so here's a question for you then. It's you mentioned in passing that you've invested in a few new gTLDs. So tell us about them.
Well, it didn't work out very well. As you know, I've told you this. Okay. I've essentially been screwed. In some, I'm sorry to say. Maybe it's my stupidity for not being more, not being more careful. But there was in 20. I invested in a company which dotPH put together called Names and it bid for TLDs like Box, like Spa, like Ink, .now, and a bunch of other TLDs. Website in Chinese. It did okay. It did okay. We sold Studio for 1.5. No, we sold our share for 1.5 million. We sold .now for $270,000. So and then we did quite well. But the problem seems to be that we weren't getting enough information about the finances or what was going on. And then so I discovered in 2018, in around June or July or August, we were being sued, we being dotAsia and Namesphere, the joint venture that I invested in, we're being sued by a guy named Jason Chapnick, who is the founder, or was one of the 2 founders of dotTV. They sold their share to various network solutions in those days. And so I remember asking the CEO, Edmund, why are we being sued? What's going on? And all he would say was that this guy's just very difficult, he's gonna die, he'd sue his own neighbor, and so it wasn't making any sense. So I ran into fractioning in January in NamesCon in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I think you were there.
Yeah.
And so I asked, "Hey, Frank, what's going on? Why are we being sued? Can you get me through to Jason Chapnick?" So Jason Chapnick gave me a call after a lot of ID checks. I wanted a photo of me beside my passport, all that stuff. He was very, very paranoid. So I finally got to talk to him, convince him I'm real. And what happened was that he had given Edmund $1.5 million to invest, to get 50% share of dotBox. Essentially, it was Namesphere and Amazon who were the only two bidders for dotBox. And to get Amazon offered $2 million. Edmund wanted to buy them out for $3 million. So Chapnick gave 1.5 to Edmund, and they got Box for $3 million.
That's dotBox, B-O-X, right?
B-O-X, yeah, Box, okay, yeah. B-O-X, like Dropbox.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got it. And then what happened is a year later, he didn't have his shares in Box.
What?
Shares. Yeah, he didn't have his shares. So he was freaking out, And I said, well, why did Edmund give you your shares? He said, they had disagreements over what? Edmund wanted to bundle hardware with Box. He wanted to bundle hardware that does what Dropbox does. And I was thinking, why would you go in competition with Dropbox, with Google, who makes Google Drive, or with Apple, who makes iCloud, when you have no experience in making hardware, in making software, or in distribution? You don't do that. So I was thinking, it's good that there's a partner who's making sense. This is what Edmund wanted. I think they had other arguments with Jason Chapnick over pricing. I think Edmund wanted really cheap pricing. I think that's what he wanted because he thought it would be the domain for devices, like IoT devices. He had all these dreams, and I thought that was absurd. Why am I going to get a domain for my ref, or get a domain for my TV? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so that's why he sued, because he didn't have his shares.
He didn't have his shares. He put 1.5 million and didn't get any shares.
He was freaking out. He was saying, what's going on? And Edmund was saying, I can't do anything because ICANN doesn't let me do this. I have to finish all the ICANN process until I can do that. So what's the next thing I thought is, wait a second, where are my shares? Where are my shares? All right, so I find out the same thing. My shares, I invested in 2012 when the new TLD program began, and I didn't have any shares. And he says the same thing. I can't. My hands are tied by ICANN. I can't let me issue the shares because we can't change the ownership structure until everything's done, until all the TLDs we applied for are being issued by ICANN. And so I said, it can't be true. So what do I do? What I do is, okay, what I need is someone who's going to convince the board that that's bull. Because I don't know what goes on in ICANN. I mean, I'm there, but like you, we're in the hallway. We're talking to the registrar.
Trying to do some more business, earn some more money.
Yeah, we're doing business, right? We're not crafting, the policy for the new gTLDs, right? So so what do? Is I look for somebody who's respected and who's well known. So I get Peter Dangate-Fresh, former chairman of the board of ICANN, to write a letter to the board saying, this is crap. Apparently, there's a process where you can change the ownership. It's been done 400 times already as of 2019. So he writes that letter saying, you should issue the shares. So Edmund writes a letter saying, oh, sure, you just have to ask for it. It's 2019. I just have to ask for my shares, right? And he admits to other things. But so okay, fine. So where are my shares? I asked and I asked. And I asked, and they never come. Okay, so now what's next? Well, we try mediation, that fails, which I won't go into why, because essentially there was no intent to mediate really.
So the question I got to ask you then, the bottom line is, do you have your shares today?
Yes. Yes, I have my shares. I have some of my shares. What happened is, before he gave me my shares, I went to court. and I got some of my shares. And what he did, while he had 100%, is he issued more shares to dotAsia. What he did is he created a big expense report. This is a company with nothing to do except hold on to TLDs. None of these TLDs went live, before he sold. Expense, as far as my last count in 2019, about $1.2 million. Paid himself, paid his wife, paid his sister, paid some directors in dotAsia. Now, a bunch of bogus expenses. And then he said, oh, this debt will convert to equity. That's what he did. And you can't do that. If you're going to create equity, you have to allow me, an investor, to also buy more shares. He didn't do that. He just created equity. And then he gives me the shares. You know what he does? When he gives me the shares, you know what the first thing he does? He resigns from the board. It's like, we've done all the damage we can do. So that was really horrible. That was really horrible. And so now I have my shares. We're still fighting to rescind the issues, the shares he created for dotAsia. And now we're trying to, there is no bank account, We want to know how much cash do you have, what's the balance sheet, what's the profit and loss, I know I have to go to court again.
So this is basically, you're basically wanting just business fundamentals.
Yeah, right. And remember, I'm in the Philippines, he's in Hong Kong. It's expensive for me to go to Hong Kong to sue. It's really expensive, and he knows that, and it's just one of these things. And then, that's not the worst. Now, the worst is dotSPA. dotSPA, I had, dotPH had 30% off that, and NamesCon, the joint venture, had 20%. And then he gets the board, this is really good, gets the board to give it away in September 18, 2019. It's a secret meeting. I'm not invited, even I should be invited, and the board votes to give it away. And you wonder, why would the board give away something where both companies invested in, had worked for it for 7 years, and now that I can say, just sign the registry agreement, and it's done, they vote to give it away. Now, why would he do that, right? I mean, does that make any sense to you? Does that make sense, right? So I go to court. I sue. What does he say in court? Oh, we recognize your right. We recognize the right of dotAsia to SPA. So you're wondering what's going on. Why are they making life difficult? Right? Just give the shares, right? And let's do business. Let's make it work. Doesn't make sense. And then I discovered 2 months ago that they're about to launch. They're gonna go live. They're going to go live. They're going to go live. So why? I mean, we haven't agreed on pricing. We haven't discussed, how it's going to be run. We don't have our shares, so the money will go to this Malaysian guy, and we won't get anything. So it you don't do that, right? We're fighting over the shares. You first get that out of the way, and then you launch. And what I do is I do some research. It turns out that in 2008 there was a launch of dotAsia, and the launch of dotAsia, what happened was that the auctioneer was Pool.com, and there were allegations that the auctioneer made off with like 50 different names that were trying to find the names. 50 names that were very prime, premium names. So the auctioneer, without bidding, got these names. Names like porn.asia, dating.asia, stocks.asia, insurance.asia, beer.asia, girls.asia, wine. He got these names. No bidding. So these domainers, your market said, wait a second, we're waiting to bid, and these guys, these domains never went to the auction. So they complain loudly, and then they discover that the one who got the name is the auctioneer through a maze of offshore companies. So they have to dig. They have to get lawyers to dig, and they find out. So it's a big scandal, and Edmond says, okay, we'll change the auctioneer to snap names. So change to snap names, but he does not get back those names. Even though they're worth millions, he doesn't get it back from the auctioneer. He says there's nothing wrong if the auctioneer buys names. And remember, these are names that should have gone to auction because there was no one who qualified. Because the rule he created then was that you have to have a trademark for these generic names. First, people don't get trademarks for porn. Who gets a trademark for porn, right? So the auctioneer happened to find a way to get a trademark in some third world country, which has very questionable trademark laws. Got the name, applied, and he was approved. And so he was the only guy who could bid for that name. So he got it at a nominal price.
So to me, those sort of things, like if someone wants to be able to do that, to acquire a domain, that sort of stuff, then in some ways, all power to them, right?
Right.
I think that's fine. If that's not they're not at fault. It's the person selling it who's at fault, which is non-transparent process.
Exactly, right.
It's not the person buying it, mate. I would say all power to them. That's great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
the domainer,
that's smart thinking.
Right. So what happened here? My theory is collusion between Edmund and Poole and a bunch of other people, right? And so he never got those names back. So now I was scared this would happen with SPA again, because why would you give it away? And then you would say in court, no, that's ours. So I filed an injunction against the registry, or the SPA registry, saying don't launch. Let's preserve these premium names. Now come up with a list of good names and preserve that. Don't sell it, or sell it at no less than this price, right? Makes sense, right? I mean, it's good for the registry, and it gives it money. And you know what happens? Last week, Edmund is the one who goes to court to try to stop it. Here's a guy who is dotPH CEO, and he claims that they have equity in SPA. Rather than fight for their shares, rather than fight to preserve the value of their asset, he's trying to tell the court, no, let SPA go on, rather than protect us. So it's really all very questionable, and it's very tiring. It's very tiring and very expensive, because I have to go to court in Hong Kong to fight for this. But it's just too bad. It's horrible because there are people who screw you over, and when you catch them, sometimes there's remorse. Yeah. There's it's like, sorry, I didn't have money. But this guy has no remorse, and he's not even sorry. He's not even admitting.
Look, it's a real challenge. Some people are like that, and I must admit, it is really quite disappointing in these circumstances. And for those of you who are watching this and don't know this story or anything like that, can I just say, I'd be very happy to go along and have Edmund on here and also share his side of the story and all that sort of stuff. Be really interesting. Like, to me, it's like you put money in, you get shares. It seems pretty black and white. So I don't understand what the heck's going on. Like, I really don't. I'm not across all obviously the legal side or anything, but it's very disappointing, because you'd like to hope that people would just do that. Like, here's the financials, here's your shares. Like, it's just automatic. Over the years, I've had different investors and everything like that on board, and when they put money into a venture, then the first thing you do is you issue the shares and you register it with the government. And that's just what you do. I just don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Like, it's just
I never asked for I never asked where am I assumed the shares were. I just never thought to ask. Never thought.
But anyway, so here's a question: where do you see the future going for the domain industry?
That's a great question. Great question. Okay. First of all, I'm a CC, so I'll focus on the CC future, right? This is what I understand. The growth is slowing down for many CCs, and many of them are Asian, and they want to get out. Now, I realized that some CCs don't sell direct. Many CCTLDs sell through registrars. The ones like PH who sell direct. I noticed that GoDaddy, if you look at their balance sheet, for every dollar they make on the domain, they probably make $1 also on value-added services. So, in other words, if a TLD has 10 million in sales, then if GoDaddy buys them or makes a deal with them, it's probably the easiest thing to do, and says, look, I'll give you your 10 million in sales, so you get that money that you get today, and I'll give you a share of the other 10 million I make on the value-added sales. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because the TLD now says, the registrar says, okay, I don't do anything. I still get my money, and I still get value. I still get the growth that's coming. And I still get the little markup, something on sale of hosting, the sale of G Suite, the sale of Microsoft 365. So that's where it's going. What's going is that companies like GoDaddy are going. I don't see anybody else. Maybe Donuts, but they're going to acquire these companies, and they're not going to really acquire them. They're going to just make a deal, because it's such a political thing to say, I acquired a country. The country will, will go up in arms. They say, we're managing the TLD for them.
It's interesting. I'm not sure if you saw that today. It was announced that the GoDaddy just purchased all of MMX extensions, really? And also .club.
Really? Okay. Yeah. So this consolidation is going to happen.
Yeah, the consolidation is happening. It's not it is happening.
Yeah. It is happening. It's happening quietly. And the CCTLDs are all, they've been around like me for 30 years. So they're just dying, especially with COVID. You don't want to work anymore. You want to just,
also good
take a check. Yeah. Right. It makes sense.
You get the check and you bank it and away you go.
Yeah. So, and it's not growing that fast anymore. So so that's where it's going. I see big consolidation there. I think that's the way it's going to go. And that's what I see happening for CCs. They're gonna consolidate. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna manage the registry. They're gonna put in their software, and the CCs are gonna have to have uniform policies that are more EPP like, more COM like, I should say, because the software may not be able to handle all the arcane rules a small TLD will have. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to have less restrictions on these TLDs. That's where I see things happening. Yeah. As far as
that's really interesting, particularly getting it from a perspective of a CCTLD owner, to be able to go and sort of say there's going to be consolidation. I think that's fascinating. Sorry, you were saying something else.
I was just going to say that it's interesting that for many TLDs, growth has been minimal. It's there's a struggle between social media. People are saying, I don't need a domain. I just need Instagram. I need Facebook. And I don't need. So that's interesting. I don't know how that ends. My thinking is that it makes sense to sell out because the growth will be slow, and let GoDaddies sell value-added products. Now, my business is, people come to me to buy PH domain name, and then if they want to buy G Suite, they want to buy Microsoft 365, they want to buy QuickBooks, they want to buy some software as a service, they want to buy Slack. Fine, I'll sell to them, right? I'll give them support, and I think that's how it's going to evolve. The registries are going to be, registries for our registrars will go down that road of selling to.
Interesting. Interesting. So, wow, what a journey you've been on for the last 31 years. What an incredible journey. You've had some highs, had some lows. We heard about a low just about that then, but we're also hearing that there's some really interesting things happening in the CCTLD space. You see, I'm actually really pro CCTLD. Is there any last sort of thoughts you want to share, anything like that, or any other comments you want to add?
I think what's interesting is the Frank Schilling is selling some TLDs in a few weeks, right?
Yes, he is. He's auctioning them off.
And I've seen the value of TLDs go down the last few years. Do you agree? So I think this will determine the value of many people who want to sell. Now, how that sale goes will determine the valuation of many CC and gTLDs. So I think I'm thinking that's a smart thing to do. I don't think it's going to grow that much anymore. I think there are more exciting things to be done. I'm sorry to say, but you're a domaining show.
No, I agree. I agree.
Well, I think that's where it's going.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they go in the next couple of weeks when Frank auctions off those TLDs. I took a look at them. I think they're very bullish on some of their pricing.
Okay.
Very, very bullish. they make. Is there
a reserve on some of those? They have a reserve, right? Or no?
Yeah, they're reserves. Yeah. So they'll be very interesting to see whether it meets reserve or not. but the market will be what the market is.
Right.
But can I just say, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And it's been great having you on, just hearing your journey. A lot of people just don't know, say, necessarily about you at all. So it's been, I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Okay. See you later then.
Okay. Bye. All right. Bye. Is there a clap?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's all good. So what I'll do is we're still recording now because I don't think I can stop recording yet, but we're still recording now. No, that was great. That was really good. Cool. So I think it was really good what you shared about Edmund. I think it was, because it needs to come out. And I put that offer in there. And if he wants to go along and say, hey, Michael, I'll say, come on. Because the first question I'm going to ask him is this: did you receive the money? And he'll say, yes. Did you give the shares? And he'll say, no. And I'll say, why not? Right. And then that's where it is. It's like, to me, it's like, I just don't.
He gave some shares 9 years later.
No, did you give the shares in a timely fashion after they were purchased? Yeah. And by the way, diluting someone is by diluting someone is not the way you do business. That's disgusting.
It's illegal.
Well, it's illegal. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg tried to do it through his friend.
Yeah.
Yep, you saw that?
Yeah, sure. Everybody did.
And he got taken to court, and in the end, he had to pay like $300 million or whatever it was. Right. Yeah. That guy now lives in Singapore, apparently.
I know. Hey, I'm serious. I wanted to show you something I can't show from here. I bought some. In Melbourne, you have these nice wrought iron. In the roof or the ceiling. Yeah. I bought some of those from Melbourne. And I want to show you, but they're I can't.
That's okay.
It's nice.
Well, I'll have to come over and visit it and then see it.
You guys should. You guys must. And
I'm looking forward to just the whole COVID thing being over and done with. I'm looking forward. I'll get the injection, a couple of injections.
What's the time frame? What's the time frame you'll get it?
I'll probably get that in June. Right now, it's illegal for me to travel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Australia, like I'm not allowed to leave the country.
Illegal. Okay.
Yeah, I only found that out about a week ago. I got asked to speak at a conference in Dubai. There's been like 3,000 people at this conference. They wanted me as one of the speakers on the stage, and I thought that would be great. I'd love to do that, and I love being on the stage, and sharing. And then I looked up on the travel website, and I said to the conference convener, I got some bad news. It's illegal for me to leave the country unless I get special permission.
Is this new or is this old?
It's been there for a while, but I've never paid attention to it really until right now. Okay. And I was surprised that it's illegal. As I said,
can you go into New South Wales?
Yeah, I can go to New South Wales, but I can't leave Australia. If I get without special permission from the Department of Foreign Affairs or something like that, and if I do leave, when I go somewhere, I have to quarantine for 14 days. Normally,
but when you come back,
and when I come back, I got to go quarantine for 14 days. Not that I can't. So I said to them, I'd love to speak maybe next year.
I think we'll get the vaccine around maybe June or September, between there. And after that, I'm going to be fine. Traveling. Yeah. Having friends over.
Yeah.
So, please. Really. I look forward to having you guys over.
Yeah, that would be great for it. We'd love to come to the Philippines and visit you guys. It'd be fantastic. But in the meantime, make sure you say hi from us to your wonderful wife.
I will.
Yeah, say hello. And what I'll do with this video, by the way, I've got to process it and all that sort of stuff, and I'll probably publish it next week. Yeah. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it goes up. Sure. And you'll share it with other people and that sort of stuff. Share it with everyone from ICANN if you like. Yeah, and that'd be good. Like, let's see how Edmund responds.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough fight. It's costing me a lot of money. But
it's the stress. It's the stress.
Yeah, and stress. I think we'll win. It's just a long fight. It's more like
It's an unnecessary.
I don't want to be ripped off. I wanted to walk away. My wife says just walk away. It's not worth it. It's true. It's not worth it. But I can't let this guy get away with this. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
We're in this deep.
It was interesting. Like I had an issue just with a small company just recently, and it was over a coffee machine, something simple. It was with Nespresso actually, and anyway, so I was going back and forth the help desk trying to sort out the problem and all that sort of stuff, and in the end, the help desk person, which is I climbed up the ladder. This went over like 5-6 weeks. Climbed up the ladder, got to a team leader, and the team leader just began to lie to me. Yeah, and it was very clear, lied like about the issue, and I said, look, let me tell you, up until this point, I'm happy to work with you, and I'm very easygoing. But when you lie, you have actually breached relationship, and that's the problem. And I think you're experiencing is a breach of relationships. So I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a video of the disastrous customer relationship in Nespresso. And I'm going to put it out to like 15,000 people. She said, well, you can do that if you like. And I said, I do. And by the way, if I don't hear back from you within a week, I'll then put it out to 150,000 people a day. And she said, oh, you could do that. So I did something worse than that for her career. I actually put the video up. I then contacted the CEO of Nespresso through LinkedIn. And I said, you need to take a look at this. He called me back within a couple of hours that night. And he was a great guy. I said, look, I'm not trying to be a pain. Like, I'm a fan. I just wanted my coffee. Yeah. That's all I want.
A guy would lie for an espresso machine. It's just an espresso machine.
This is
not lie for something like that.
It was just stupid. Like, I'm thinking I've just bought your integrity for like $50 or something. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I would just offer the money to you out of my pocket if you were so upset. I
was sort of saying to them, like, well, how do we solve this problem? And everything, because the machine wasn't working and all that sort of stuff. And I said, what, I'd like to pay more money. So in the end, the CEO of Nespresso for the whole of Southeast Asia and Australia, he ended up saying he gave me a brand new machine, the top of the line machine, all this coffee and everything out there. I said, look, I'm not asking for that. Thank you very much. I'm not asking for that. What I'm just asking for is I just need to get my coffee. It's just the way I like it, yeah? And he said, not a problem. I said, tell you what I'll do for you. I'll do another video on how you've pulled it out of the disastrous customer situation, and I'll feature the new machine and everything like that, and I'll push it out there for you.
Good for you. Good of you. That's good of you.
And I said, I'm very happy also to interview you or something like that. We can talk about coffee and that sort of thing. I love my coffee, and very happy to do that. And he said, no, that's okay and everything. But yeah, I went and did that for him, and I sent that through. And he circulated amongst the whole of the.
That's good. So you undid the damage that was done. Good.
Yeah. Like, to me, it's being fair. It's just, but the issue, I would never have done the first video if it wasn't for the fact that the person crossed the line. Up until then, I was very relaxed, and we'll just sort through this issue. Do I have to pay another $500? Like, what's it going to cost? Like, I really don't care. Like, a bit like money is important, but it's like, so what?
You hit it on the button. It's the lies. Why lie? And he's lying. He's lying because he's trying to make money by stealing some premium names. That's all it is. Now I caught him, and I found out what he did. In 2008. He's freaking out.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous, and I don't understand how people can sell their integrity so cheaply.
Yeah.
I remember I had these two guys. I was at church actually, and these two guys, they're best friends, and I was eating my lunch at the time, and it was after the church service, and they pulled me into another room, and they're just yelling at each other because they wanted me to negotiate some sort of settlement. And it was over that one of them hadn't paid like $200 or something like that. So I just calmly, like for their bond or something, or their rent, I don't know. So I just calmly ate my lunch, and I pushed my chair back to the end, and I said, they said, what? I said, you two disgust me. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you value your friendship at exactly $200. And I walked out. It's just like, I said, you absolutely disgust me. I can't believe, I've never been able to put a price tag on a relationship so quickly. And I just don't get that. And that's what Edmund's done, is that what he's doing is actually putting a monetary value on relationships. And that crosses the line. Like, I've invested in things and they've gone south. And, you know, that's just called investment. Yeah, some work, some don't. And I don't have a problem. I invested in something a number of years ago, and the last time I saw the guy, I was in the witness stand at a court, and I was saying, yes, Your Honor, that is the man who defrauded me. I went after him because he committed fraud. There's actually all the investors, and I was actually one of them. We all went after him, and he got put in behind bars.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if someone defrauds me, it's very different from an investment going south. If investment goes south, it's called, do you need to put some more money in to resurrect it? Like, what's the story? Or do you just let it die? You have all those adult conversations. But if someone commits fraud, steals your money, then I will pursue them to the ends of the earth, and I will make them pay.
This is fraud.
Yeah,
this is really
absolutely.
It's really fraud. Yeah.
To me, you just go after him, and there's two ways you can destroy someone. You can either go along and destroy them legally, and that's a good thing to do. And the other way is destroy them with all their relationships. So they cannot do it again.
Right.
So you just tell everyone about it.
Yep.
And you publish it, and you do things like this video and all that sort of stuff, and you just destroy them. Because of
I hate to say that, but you know, this is just really awful. It's really awful.
Oh, it's because you never want to do this. You never
want to do it.
It's
just awful.
No.
So much time, so much money wasted. You know, I says, you know, what are you doing? You know, you're spending so much time on this. You know, and I say, I have to do this. You know, I won't be happy if I let him get away with it. Sometimes
you just got to go after them.
Yep. Anyway, this is I got elected to the board of Asia, so that's why I have access to all this right now.
So you're on the board.
I'm on the board.
Oh, that's
not
great.
Only that, I have three other CCTLDs who got elected, and we're a coalition of four. You know, so
how many on the board?
What?
How many on the board?
I'm sorry.
How many people?
There are 10 on the board. 10 on the board.
You have 40% of the board.
We're 40% now, so we just need one or two more votes, you know, to make things happen. So we're almost there. It's just work, you know. It's work.
It's going to come out. Like, if it comes out in a really bad way, in a criminal sense, he could end up going to jail.
Yeah. Well, I wish that would happen. I'm happy with just that. I mean, I'll walk away and get nothing. That happens. I'm just I'm good with that. I just don't want this. It's so unfair.
I think that's great. You're on the board.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I had to campaign. I called we called every CCTLD we could find in who's a member of that data. For 2 months, worked on this. He had no idea. He had no idea it was coming.
Oh, that is great. That is really, really good. Because he thinks it's his own.
Yeah, he thinks it's his. You know what shocked me was that
it's not his.
What shocked me is that the shares he issued were not to him, it's to dotAsia. Who thinks that way? He says he invested money in this company. So I think, okay, you put your own money, so you're going to look after the company, right? No, he milks the company and he creates shares for dotAsia. The implication is that he thinks dotAsia is his.
Hang on, but dotAsia is a non-profit.
Exactly, but he runs it. There's no oversight. The directors are unpaid and they get elected every 2 years, and he controls them. So essentially, no one knows how much money he's milking. He's taking from the company. He thinks it's his.
It's not his.
It's not his.
He'll be in so much trouble.
He will. He will. He'll be Mr. Chris. He's gonna be Mr. Your other guy. It's gonna be Chris.
Chris Gaze.
Forget his name. On
Gaze. Chris Gaze.
Yeah.
Oh no, Chris.
The Spain.
Chris Spain.
The Spain 2.0.
Oh, in the end, I believe that's still being pursued because he fled to the UK. Yeah.
There's a word. So there's a
He vanished within, like, he was gone within a week because he knew the Australian Federal Police came in.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was front page of the newspaper.
Yeah, I've called a guy in Australia who's a former Hong Kong police guy in Sydney, and it's very hard to get the Hong Kong police in on this. So I'll just hopefully win in court. Just so hard. I'm here. He's there. It's way too hard. Yeah. I'll do what I can. But thank you for your help, sir.
Not a problem. It's long overdue. Well, take care and keep safe.
Yeah. Yeah. You too. We'll see each other when it's legal for you to leave.
Yes. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed that video and you find them really valuable for your business and helping you make better decisions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or pass the video on to your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. Bye.